So, welcome to our Facebook Live, and it's my pleasure to actually introduce you to Yvette Braithwaite Bragg, who runs a company in Adelaide called Ruby Red Star Events. And the reason why you're going to take a lot away from Yvette today, because some of the events that she does is really they're lifestyle events, and they're pretty cool. Masterclasses to help, I suppose, bring that little bit of joy into our lives, but also the current situation that the events industry has found themselves in, and probably try and pick Yvette's brain as to what that looks like moving forward. So welcome, Yvette. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you so much for asking me on your show. That's fantastic.
It's my pleasure. Tell me a little bit, or tell everyone a little bit about Ruby Red Star Events.
Okay, so 2015, Ruby Red Star Homewares was first was the first sort of element of my business, and then I guess some of the products that I was procuring, if you like. I had a real strong sort of emphasis on meeting and with sort of small producers, very much organic, very much environmental, and certainly very, very local. I sort of didn't want to sort of go for the big, brands that everybody has in their homeware stores. So I was trying to find something that was very, and I don't really like this word bespoke, but it's certainly very, very unique and handmade and had some real integrity about it.
Yeah. I think on your website you talk about being proudly South Australian.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm first and foremost, I'm a Queenslander, and devastated that we won't be seeing first state of origin. Just let's put that out there. But have now lived in South Australia since 2011 and just love it. I really love being here. So South Australian, very much, it's a proud, in terms of what I was looking for, was very much a local perspective and local artisans. And then, meeting those artisans, I realized that a lot of what they were doing, I felt that there was a need for people to want to know more about it. People are always interested in how do you make that, or how do you do that, and a lot of the I guess artisans that I was meeting, they were really keen to be able to showcase for people to be able to learn how to do what it is that they do in their own home. And I'm not talking about things like how to knit a beanie or something like that. And there's nothing wrong with how to knit a beanie. All I'm saying is there were things that people were they were making just very not wheel pottery or ceramics, but hand sort of thrown, hand not on the wheel. So I said, look, I think people would really like to learn how to do things like that. And that was the feedback that they were receiving as well. So cut a long story short, I started then talking about how do we get these people involved, or how do we create an event around this? And knowing that I do big scale events on a day-to-day basis, this was something very small, very intimate, and also, I guess, wanting to bring in some fun and interactive part of it too. So it was sort of trying to figure out how to go from big events to something really small, intimate, and so that's, and then sort of, I segued out of homewares and started to sort of just really work one-on-one with these artisans, and to the point where we are now with what the events that we're now doing, which we've been doing now for 18 months.
So to have an idea of a masterclass, where does that come from? So I see you've got masterclasses on styling, organization.
Yep.
I love Grey's Anatomy. So
I know that was our very first one. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about where the masterclasses come from, and how you actually find these local people that are doing this sort of stuff.
I felt that masterclass was a word that I really wanted to correlate to the people, the artisans that I was procuring to be presenters, because I had a strong feeling that these people, I felt that a workshop didn't really represent their skill level. I felt that they are masters of their trade, if you like, and therefore we were going to produce master classes. That was first and foremost. I felt that it was really important to have the right wording there. And then I guess it then sort of came down to, again, one of my biggest resources or my research areas was Instagram. And just, really, I guess, not stalking, but I had ideas about what sort of classes that I wanted to actually present. And so I used the hashtags that we put in all our posts, which is a bit like your Google search bar. And I started, hashtagging, plant person Adelaide, just, some really random names. And then, of course, you would start to see these people emerge, and then obviously talking to people about, my ideas and what I'm looking for. And of course, the word of mouth is like, oh, I know somebody. And so, we started with Grey's Anatomy with Tanya Pradden from Amazing Grazers. And just for your people who don't know what Grey's Anatomy is, it's grazing platter. It's learning how to build a grazing platter, at home, where this particular genre is just huge right now. And in home hospitality, corporate hospitality, it's a big, I guess, movement, if you like. So Tanya was our first masterclass. And because she had such a strong following, and this is really critical with any of these classes, it's you have to really rely heavily on the presenters' following and the presenters' tribe. Again, not a word I really like, but kind of sums up what it's about. And I'm basically, the facilitator. I draw on all my event experience. I don't I'm not doing the grazing platter. I'm not the master of grazing platters, but I pretty much know how to pull an event together. And so, it's just working towards each other's strengths.
Yeah, it's such a fascinating concept. And the word workshop that you mentioned before is very formalized around a training session. And the word masterclass, and the way you described it to me, and the way that I've seen you present it from a promotional aspect, is a lot of fun. It's the odd glass of wine as you learn to do something. So it's 2 hours where people, particularly, and it's all people, it's of all different demographics. We've had couples, we've had mums and daughters, we actually had a family of 2 aunties and their and cousins. So there's many different people that come along to our master classes, but it's 2 hours of escapism. And they're made to they're there to, I guess, first and foremost learn. They get to take away what it is that they've done this themselves, right? So everything that they take away with them, they've produced themselves. So there's a real sense of pride and achievement. And they've met some new people. That's the other thing, because they're all doing it together. They're all not the experts on how to pull a grazing platter together. They all come there with, the same amount of, I guess, knowledge and interest, and they all walk away. The smiles, are a mile wide, and it's not because of the wine, because you can only really have one glass of wine realistically in that time. So it's really empowering, these classes as well. Absolutely. And it's just a fantastic concept. And it's not like you've got 100 people in a room. No. They're an intimate setting, aren't they?
Yeah, where the maximum we have at any one time is 12. And and we find that it's that is the best number for the presenter to also get around to, be able to work with each individual. And no one feels as though they didn't get a chance, or no one was interested in what they were doing, and, they were lost, or no one showed them the way. That's really important as well, because sometimes, you and I go to many workshops, Tony, and I could sit there and not. I'm a very outward person, but I could sit there the whole time and not put my hand up, and it would be really easy to do that. Just waiting for somebody else to ask the question that you want to ask. But in this situation, you're not exposed, but you're certainly, in the very first instance, made to feel comfortable, and then when everybody else is doing exactly the same thing as what you're doing, you feel equal as well. And that's a real strong point for us.
So with the current situation that we found ourselves in, with lockdowns and isolations and whatnot, now obviously your masterclasses aren't happening at the moment. So your current scenario, you've got some experts out there that you work together in partnerships. What's the general feel at the moment from what's everyone going through on not being able to do what they love to do?
Well, a couple of my presenters, their businesses are no longer, they're on, they're in a holding pattern, if you like. Yeah. I think in the first week, it's fair to say, like a lot of other people, there's certainly, there's a lot of stress, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. But I think once we've moved through that, scared sort of scenario, people have now embraced opportunities. They can see that there's a different way to do their business. And I think that's where I've come in and went, you know what, there's nothing to say we can't do these online, and we can't even, not only online, but live. We can actually construct a cheese platter live online, and then you can do the same thing, because we will provide you with all the tools and information to do that in preparation for the live masterclass. And you will still have Tanya overseeing, your production of your cheese platter, and you still get to eat it. You still get to have a glass of wine, and and you're still doing it with other people. You're seeing what other people are doing. So I guess, they didn't know what to do, and I was like, well, I'm going to. There's always another way, because I myself was doing a lot of webinars, and I still am. You only have to go onto YouTube to see people. Let me show you how to do this. There's many platforms that are now available that are very easy to use, and if we give the right information well in advance to everybody who's interested in participating, we can achieve the same results. And I think it's a win-win. I don't think we've just, that's it. I think this is progressing instead of going this way, I think we're just sort of taking a bit of a this way, and I think it's going to open up a whole other area for these types of events, past this whole pandemic.
Absolutely. I'm involved with the Redlands Coast Chamber of Commerce, and of course our physical events are on hold.
Yeah.
But we've embraced Facebook Live. So on a Wednesday morning, we do a Facebook Live event. And potentially and personally, what I believe will happen is that we will continue doing those Facebook Live events. Even when we are going back and we've got our monthly breakfasts and our women's in business lunches and whatnot happening, because I just see the potential for those Facebook Live events to be something different. You can invite a guest like I did today with yourself.
Exactly.
And this morning with our breakfast, our Facebook Live with the Chamber, we had a gentleman called Craig Harper, who's one of the leading performance speakers and really key integral component of the fitness industry since 1982. And he gave us 15 minutes of his time.
Yeah.
to talk to our community. And I think that's just amazing. That's some of the potential that you can do with something like a Facebook Live. You can reach out and ask. It's a low-cost ask.
Yep.
Whereas if we were to bring Craig up from Melbourne
and
to present at a breakfast event, all of a sudden there's, he's probably, he would have a fee, and then there would be airplanes and accommodation potentially. So
that's right.
I think it's just embracing some of the new ways to create stronger, more capable business.
Well, I think also you've now got another business unit to your business. You've got another income stream. And the other thing that you can do, which I'm also exploring at the moment, is obviously we have a live model, and we will be going back to our group classes because they have a place in all of this as well. But the live model, again, just one other thing I just wanted to point out. There are people, including your presenters and my presenters, that are sitting at home like us, going a bit stir crazy, and the opportunity, mental health wise, to be able to get back into a groove of some semblance that of what you used to do, or you still are formally but just can't do. I think it's very good for their mental health, and also those participants who are joining in. But the other option that I see, and I think it would work also with Redlands, is I guess you could also from this create a self-paced version, which is at a lower cost. People can come in and go out. The offer just changes a bit, but it's still, again, another new business element that importantly has an income stream attached to it.
Absolutely. So tell me about the vision that you've got for Ruby Red Star events.
So look, it's because we're 18 months down this track, and obviously had the curveballs come. I see it as an opportunity, and I'm really, I think, very focused now to put a lot of time and effort into finding the right classes that will fit this business model ongoing. And I think that it could also sort of take itself to a point where, it could be national, because at the moment we're Adelaide, South Australian, but as soon as you start going live online, well, it's not just national, it's then international. Yeah. So that's something I find really exciting, to think that we've just started, in downtown Adelaide, and then because of this situation, we are now potentially going to be going hello world. So that's the direction I'm very focused on at the moment, because I would never have done this without this situation. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, sometimes the biggest changes that come in anyone's life is when we've just been jolted. There's always a metaphor that I love from John Gillam when he was with Bunnings. He used to talk about car racing cars, and there's a preferred racing line. And he said, but that's not when the race is won or lost. He said the race is won or lost when you get knocked off your preferred racing line. Yeah. And that's when you make the decisions that are going to see you either come out the winner or ultimately come out not winning. So, and we've all been knocked off our preferred racing line. We were all sitting back, or potentially sitting back, or moving forward, following the path that we saw fit on a day-to-day, and then all of a sudden someone's just called Corona, just came in and knocked us all to six.
Yeah, exactly.
Now
but, again, like I said, I'm a glass half full person. So, and talking to my presenters and telling them I'm really sorry, but our 8 classes, because we only do them on the weekends. Yeah. The 8 classes that we had scheduled, of which these people are getting income from, right? Yeah. So they get paid to do this. This isn't just a, come along and do it for love. It's like they get paid, and that's income, another, drop in income for them, another sort of, so you're not going to get this money now either. So it's really important that we can sort of say, well, we can still do this, and I can still pay you to do this. And potentially the other thing is, with the self-paced, they, I'm sure you're familiar with affiliates and things like that. All of this stuff I'm learning myself, mind you, but there's a potential for them to also earn money from that. So I guess it's, like you say, it's not about the finishing line and we all get knocked off, but I just felt that I really needed to help them and me be occupied, stay occupied, and continue to do the things that we love.
Yeah, absolutely. Yvette, I'd love to see you go national, because I think the masterclass concept would work. I'd love to see it up here. So if anyone was interested in connecting with you, what's the best way to do that?
Look, through the website, because that's obviously where the information is. But by all means, reach out to me direct. I mean, what? Let's just have a conversation. I mean, I'm not really, give us a buzz. Just be old-fashioned about it. Just let's talk. Happy to chat. No problem at all. So through the website, www.rubyredstar.com.au, or contact me at yvette@rubyredstar.com.au. Pretty
awesome.
Simple stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for
thank you. And I'm so glad. Like, it's so thrilled. It's a really great thing, and a great initiative on your part as well, Tony, doing this.
Yeah.
And I hope that we're all going to learn something out of it. And that's the other thing, sharing the information, because this is my first Facebook Live. So there you go.
No, and it was pretty painless, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. But, I just need to master Zoom first, and then we might think about Facebook Live.
Too easy. Thanks, Yvette. We'll talk soon.
No problem at all. Thank you.
See you, everyone. Bye.